My crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's because Jesus Christ is my...
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Garbagemice podcast, the only podcast that for the is where the blue kids they fucking take the Jews against Israel.
Artillery, are you okay?
Did he just shoot himself?
Are you okay, Artillery?
No,
Okay,
I'm not. Okay,
I
but
think
anyway,
I got him.
we got we got the Christian, the Sword of God himself, the outspoken believer in Jesus, the man who wants to convert all of us so we can find heaven and find eternal peace and eternal salvation. Urfriendlyhood. Now, Urfriendlyhood, how's it going, man?
Did you just call me the Sword of God?
Yeah.
That's badass, dude.
I know.
Badass. That's such a good title. I wish I came up with that. You know, I'm gonna add it to the list.
Sure
Have
thing,
you
man. Feel free
you
to
ever
drop
looked
it.
at the
titles.
About page on my YouTube channel?
Never did. What does it say?
So this is what it says. I'll read it to you.
Okay.
My name is Nui Sans, and welcome to Your Friendly Hood, the number one. It's spelled number one Christian YouTuber. Here are some words that are used to describe me. Now, are you ready? Are you ready to listen to the words used to describe me?
Please
Yeah.
enlighten us.
Super extremist, homophobic,
Based?
Hey!
hateful,
Based?
racist demagogue,
Absolutely
Based?
fucking great.
villain,
Based?
Hey!
horrible representative of Christianity, liar,
Jesus Christ.
false prophet,
Based?
anti-free speech,
Based?
hypocrite,
Based?
sicko,
Based?
ignorant,
Based?
narcissistic,
Based?
tied to Hollywood Jews.
Oh my fucking...
Extra based.
Which is totally fake news, by the way, I must say. Totally fake news. And the last one is Mickey Mouse Gangster. Unironically, someone said that to me. I'm not joking. That's just a comment somebody left.
Okay, let me redo the introduction. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Garbage blah 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 blah. Today we have the one, the only, the Sword of God, the number one Christian YouTuber, super extremist, homophobic, hateful, racist, demagogue, villain, horrible representative of Christianity, liar, false prophet, anti-free speech, hypocrite, sicko, ignorant, narcissistic, tied to Hollywood Jews, Mickey Mouse Gangster, Urfriendlyhood himself. How's it going, Urfriendlyhood?
I think it was funnier when I read it out. I'm not gonna lie.
Fuck you.
No, we're gonna leave all that in. We're gonna have two intros.
Just leave this in. Just make this the most scuffed episode of the podcast.
Oh, it already is.
Every interview I've ever done has always just been fucking awful.
This is gonna be just
Man.
more
I'm
of the
trying
same.
to give you. I'm trying to make you stand out to the rest of our fucking. I don't fucking know, man. It was retarded.
It'll work out. Don't
I think
worry,
it's
don't
funny
worry.
that we
we're
don't
going
have
back.
two
Just
intros.
keep going from where I left off. Keep going.
Okay, hold on. So, Urfriendlyhood. Well, I take you're a very firm believer in Jesus Christ and his teachings. So, tell me, where does that come from? Where did you start?
Where did I start?
Yeah.
Well, that's a long story, and it's probably really pretentious sounding and gay. But I'll go back to the beginning. So when I was a wee lad, I'm talking like a literal child. When I say wee lad, I was raised up in a Catholic household. I lived with my grandparents, and they were very devout Catholics. They took me to the CCD. They took me there. But eventually what I realized, right, is that everything that they're talking about here is just total bullshit. As I started getting older and they have these religious classes in Catholic school or whatever. I'm asking a teacher questions based on amazing atheist videos that I watched, or like who else was big at the time? Thunderfoot, Cosmic Scout, like retarded, awful takes from like YouTubers that I was watching online, and I'm bringing it to class, right? Like, what about evolution?
If God real, why bad thing happened?
Yeah, shit like that. And I would bring it up to the teachers here, who were like 20-something. Like, I didn't realize at the time, but they're like 20-something. They don't even like really know half the shit they're talking about. They're just like doing what the Catholic Church tells them to do. They don't know anything about like what the Bible actually says. So they're like totally unable to answer any of these questions. And so eventually, this led me to fall away from the faith. I was like, you know what? This Christian shit, kind of cringe, kind of gay, kind of not based pilled, right?
I know exactly what time period this happened in, like 2016, 2017.
No, not 2016. That was actually when I started to come back. I'm talking about 2012. I was a little kid. I was just a little kid, and I'm being indoctrinated by people online that are telling me God not real. If God real, why bad thing happened? The Bible is so silly, and it's full of these sick stories and all this. Like all these like lies.
If God real, then why priests rape children? Stuff like that.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah.
But eventually, around, I'd say 2018, 2019, 2020, I began to notice that following this hedonistic, atheistic, satanic worldview was leading my life to completely fall apart in every single way. And I was like, why do I want to kill myself?
Fucking hell, man.
Why do I want to kill myself? Why do I want to slit my wrists every day of my life? Why do I hate waking up in the morning? Why do I wish I was dead when I woke up in the morning? I start questioning this, and so I start doing a lot of research, right? I start, really getting into psychology. I'm like, oh, is there something wrong with me? Am I a psychopath? Am I a sociopath, right? I'm like looking into like every facet of reality. And eventually the conclusion I came to, like it was pretty long time that I spent doing this, but what the conclusion I ended up coming to is that, when we come from like this, what?
You started a cult?
Yeah, I started a cult basically. No, but is that basically all the answers to most of the questions that people are asking in this like nihilist society that we've created for ourselves after, basically quote unquote disproving God, all the questions that we're left with can be answered by just returning to the thing that we allegedly disproved. So that is basically my journey, I guess, or whatever.
You want to hear?
Did you go to mass this morning, though?
Did I go to mass this morning? Yes, I did. After staying up all night, I went to mass.
Pretty based.
Yeah, I probably should have gone to church this morning, but it was like 10 a.m. and I had not yet slept, so I just wanted to go to bed.
I should have went to church, but I decided to go get groceries instead.
Yeah, I didn't go to church. I only just started recently going to church, like around like early December. I was. Oh yeah, go ahead. I don't want to talk over you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna first start of when I came to church and how my first day went, and then I'm gonna talk about why I didn't, like my journey with faith. If just like you, do you want to hear about that?
Yes, I do want to hear about that.
So first day I ever went to church, I asked my friend beforehand. He's an Italian immigrant. I asked him like, "Hey, what's a good church around here?" And he told me, "Oh, go to this specific church." I'm not gonna dox myself with saying it, but it's an Italian church. It's an Italian Catholic church. And so I wake up really early in the morning, like 7 a.m., and I go and I arrive at the church 8 a.m. Now, mind you, mass is at 10 a.m., I think. and I just start pacing back and forth in front of the church until the priest father opens the door, and then I instantly go inside. I'm like, hey, no, I start knocking on the door. I'm like, hey. He's like, hello. I'm like, I've never been to church before. He's like, okay, cool. What's your name? I'm like, Mohammed. He's like, okay. And then he's like,
wait, your name's Mohammed? I thought it was artillery.
It's both. It's both. Anyway, I'm like, fucking, hey, like, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I started going to RCIA. And stuff like, it was fine. It went well. But the first day at church, I was just pacing back and forth outside the church. And then I walk in, I'm like, hey, and then 2 days after that, there was a news article that came up that in the UK, ISIS members were telling their soldiers to go to churches and pretend to be Christian.
No.
2 days after.
So you're a Fed too.
So, yeah. Anyway, you want to hear about my journey with faith?
I just
Hear it.
want to know how your life is so fucked up, man. Like I've been watching a bit of your videos, in preparation for this interview. Like your parents are in Palestine or some shit.
They're in Syria.
They're in Syria and they're getting bombed by Jewish people.
I was being bombed by Jewish people too, okay, for 8 years of my fucking life.
That sounds like the average life for a man
Syria.
named Mohammed.
Pretty much. Man, in every other fucking religion hates the Jews. In Christianity, they hate the Jews, originally. In Islam, they hate the Jews. Because the Jews just want to fuck everybody over now. That's just my opinion.
So, yeah, I do want to hear about that, though. Were you a Christian in Syria? I would assume not.
So here's my journey with faith. Back in home country. When I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, I was a devout believer in God. I believed in God, and I went to school, and in school, we have one class, I think it's like 2 hours every week, where they teach us the history of Islam and the teachings of Islam and stuff like that. But if you're Christian, of course, you get sent to the Christian class. So once it's religion class time, Christians get sent to a certain class and Muslims get sent to a certain class. It's state mandated and it's pretty secular-ish. It's not like, behead them where you find them. It's more like...
That would be more based.
We'll get to that. Anyway, during those classes, I was paying a lot of attention. I was really enjoying reading the history and the values. But the more I read into it, the more I was like, this can't come from a god. It just can't. Because, specifically, the Quran is said to be the word of God himself as dictated to Muhammad by Gabriel. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read this. But in the Quran, God himself comes down and he's like, yeah, your uncle Abu Lahab, he's a piece of shit, and he's a massive faggot, and he's gonna die in hell for all eternity. I'm like, Jesus, okay, hold on a second. Why would God start talking in a book of his teachings that are gonna be taught for generations until eternity about this guy's uncle? And then you read a different story, and it's like, yeah, that guy who called you a big poo-poo head, well, he's actually 10 times big poo-poo head, and God says this. I'm like, why the fuck would God say that? Why would God and Muhammad even entertain answering this nobody? Like, the guy is literally a nobody, and it was calling him, incontinent, or he can't, have children. And for some reason, that was enough for Allah to come down from the heavens to say, hey, that guy's a big piece of shit, and he's the one who's incontinent. And then you start reading about the miracles of Islam. Do you want to hear about some of them?
I am intrigued deeply in this story.
One of the miracles is that Muhammad, one day in his sleep, God sent him a massive, like a horse, or like a camel, a large camel that has legs that stretch over the horizon. And so he rode that camel into Jerusalem, and in Jerusalem, he went to the temple, or was it the mosque at the time? I don't know, but it was, the big place where everybody fucking fights, and he saw everything, and he went up through the temple to meet God, or to meet Allah. And then he came down back to earth, and went back to the city, right where he was sleeping. Okay, how is that a miracle, you say? Okay, let me tell you. Well, Muhammad, his questioners were like, no, you did not fucking go to Jerusalem tonight. You did not go to Jerusalem and back tonight. And he was like, no, I did, and I can describe the temple perfectly for you. And one of his friends had gone to the temple. It's not his friend. He was an enemy at the time, or so the story goes. So he's like, I can describe the temple. That man has been in the temple. He can confirm everything I said. So they're like, okay, what's happening? He's like, there's a black rug under the stairs. And the guy's like, correct. And there's this and that, and there's this and that. And every time the guy's like, correct, correct, correct. Until he convinced that guy that no, he is the prophet of God. So that was one of the ways Muhammad did so. Another thing about Muhammad is that a lot of Islam is, peace, 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 until, Muhammad gathers a lot of followers, and then it's like, wage war on them, destroy them, I want this city, I want to take this city, it's gonna be great, trust me, guys. And so, there's a lot of violence in spreading Islam. I got this idea about religion from Islam that it's just a way to control people through influential, like, cult leaders. I got this idea that all religions are just cults that grow way too big, you know? And that's kind of what Islam is. And so as time went on, as I started reading this stuff, as I realized, and then Muhammad just dies of a cold or dies of the flu, something like that. Very anticlimactic.
It's the Wu flu.
and
He died of COVID.
He died at like 47, and he did all of Islam in like the span of 9 months.
Yeah,
Anyway.
some god, dude.
This is even staying away from all the like questionable hadiths. This is just the Quran, which is the like, it's the only book that I trust has been unchanged throughout history, just because there were like 13 copies of it sent all over the Middle East right after his death, and those copies could be cross-referenced and whatever. Like, the logistics are really hard to fake things in it. So I'm like, okay, this is his teachings. They don't make sense coming from a god. And so when I was like 12, 11, I started losing my faith. But the funny thing is, I'm gonna say this is gonna sound really fucking schizophrenic. During that time, I was still like testing God as a little kid. I'm like, hey God, if you're real, make a car honk its horn. And then beep! I'm like, fuck. Okay, and I wait 5 minutes and there's no car honking. I'm like, God, if you're real, do it now. And then beep! I'm like, fuck! Maybe he's real, I don't know. But as time went on, I was like, okay, I'm just being retarded, and I became a full-on atheist. But here's the thing, I was not hedonistic. I held on to a lot of like traditional moral values. I was very conservative in my morality. Then as time went on, I grew up and I was an argumentative atheist. I'm like, fuck you, God is not real, suck my dick, here's why, blah blah blah. Stuff like that. Eventually, I arrived to Canada. And I look at people around me here, and there are no morals. There's nothing. It's just, people do whatever they fucking feel like doing.
Yeah.
There's no, like, genuinely, I can't even begin to describe it. You guys know how fucked everything is already. And so, I'm like, okay. In my atheist mind, I'm like, okay, this may be a good reason to why people should go to church. It's not that they follow the church morality 100%, but at least so there's a baseline where people can go around, you know, so people don't get lost.
Yeah, a lot of the people that I
no
meet at
morals at
church
all.
are some of the best people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, because they follow a moral code, and I'm gonna get to that. Eventually, I'm like, you know what? To meet like-minded people, to meet people who live life morally, I gotta go to church. I gotta meet people who are not necessarily religious, but religion obviously has a huge place in society as a gathering place for the people so that communities can form and know each other. To me, church just made sense, and I already agreed with a lot of the morality that was given in church. So it wasn't a hard move for me to just go to church and start moving there. But at the time, I was agnostic. And that was until my own personal miracle. I was
personal miracle? Base? Trad pill?
okay, I'm gonna get into it. I it was a whole thing where one of my housemates had stolen a package from me, and I was going up and down to the post office so I can find out, like, did they deliver it to the wrong address or did he actually steal it? The guy was on meth at the time. We didn't really interact much, but he was a piece of shit. So I was very angry, and I was getting late to work, and because of the post office is like half an hour walk away, because this is North America, remember, and it's not a good city. It's not a good city layout. It's more like a factory. So I had to walk up the street, 30 minutes, get to the post office, ask them, hey, did he take it? They're like, do you have your ID? I'm like, fuck, I forgot it. I go back down, I get my ID, 30 minutes
Gore
pass.
skull.
Hmm?
I for
Gore.
Gore skull.
Man, he
I
doesn't
don't get
get it.
I don't get it.
You don't get it?
He
No.
doesn't get the Fagor, man.
How
Not
do you
based.
not? This is how out of touch this man is. He's brown.
I have been found.
Oh, keep going, keep going.
Anyway, I'm going back up and down the street. Eventually, I'm like, I'm late for work, so whatever. At the time, I was really broke, and I didn't want, like, I felt bad asking people for money, and I needed, like, $5 more to pass the time, so I can go to work with my bus pass, and then come back from work. If I went to work, then I would have to walk back to work, and that's like 35 kilometers. It's a long fucking... No, it's not 35, it's 17 kilometers, my bad. But still, a long fucking way. So, you know what? I pray in my heart. I pray that God, if I'm worthy, like, please, I really need a bus pass. I ask for a bus pass, an electronic bus pass here in Canada for our local transit system. And while I'm walking on my way to the bus pass, I go down the stairs to the highway, and right next to me, in a bush, is a fucking bus pass. And I walk past it, but then I pause, and I'm like, I just prayed for a bus pass. So it might be an empty, worthless bus pass, or it could be like a bus pass. Like, it could have money on it. It could have, like, what do they call it? Like, credit. So I pick it up, I go to the train station, I insert it, like, I tap it, and it's got $50 on it.
Woo!
And I'm like, holy shit! Holy shit! And then I look back, and I remember that every time I would be, like, humiliated with money, or, like, humiliated with something, like, every time I would reach a place where I would be fucked, a miracle happens, like, unironically. Like, one time I was really broke, and I really needed money, and I, like, fucking didn't have food, didn't have whatever, and I found $50 on the street, and that was, like, one of the 2 times here I found money on the street. Another time is, like, this happens, or that happens, stuff like that. I'm like, oh, guess God is looking after me after all. So, I fully accepted Jesus Christ in my life.
No. It's all coincidences. It's all coincidences. It's not.
True. Nobody's looking after you. It's all a coincidence. Guardian angels, what's that?
No, it's all coincidences. There's no.
If God real, why children cancer?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, after listening to this story, I think I'm going to be converting to Islam. Prophet Muhammad, poop be upon him.
Oh man. Hey, I still respect Muslims at least, because they actually fucking keep a moral code, even if they're, even if the
Going to
baseline
hell?
religion, even if baseline. Okay, look, I have my own
beat their
opinions
women?
about that. We can get into that later, but
Oh, you're gonna say they're not? Oh, you're gonna say they're not?
hold on. My belief is, what's written in the Bible is written for us as humans to understand. And the will of God could be the will of God. We don't know what the will of God is. And there would be wisdom in telling people they would go to hell if they don't follow Christianity, if they don't follow, Christ. Even if in reality they're still counted with their sins and not. So in my mind, I'm not sure if they will actually go to hell or not. If they live a moral and good life, and if they still believe in God, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna go to hell or not.
Anyways, bro, what's going on? What's going on in the artillery sphere, bro?
Hey, I don't know
You've been
yet.
watching my videos.
feel like I'm
You've been
not,
watching my videos, friendo.
I feel like I'm at Matt's, and I've only been there a couple times.
I've watched a lot of your latest videos. I've watched the one about books. I've watched the one about what was it, like faith versus works.
Yeah, you need to watch that one again. You need to watch that one again.
Maybe. Fucking hell. Here's the thing. My interpretation is there might be some things that God does or that happen on Earth or that are in the Bible that we don't understand in the moment because we don't have the full information. But once we have the full information, we would understand why God did it because it perfectly makes sense. So...
Well, it makes sense to me.
I still haven't done... I'm still in, like, week, 12 of RCIA. I still haven't, done full... And I'm still... Do you know the Bible in a Year podcast?
No, I've heard of it, but I don't listen to that now.
It's a good podcast. It's a good podcast.
I don't support listening to people, bro. And already I feel like you're gonna hate me for saying this, but if you read the Bible, it very clearly says don't listen to people, don't listen to religion. That's one of the main core tenets of the of biblical teaching if you actually read it.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
Which is very strange, but yeah, to anybody who's an atheist, that says oh, religion is just invented to control people. Why does it say, okay, right here, this is in James chapter 1. It says this: if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God, that gives to all men abundantly and does not take away, and it will be given to him. Why doesn't it say, listen to the church? Listen to the church. Listen to the cult leader. Why does it say ask God directly for direct, intervention, for a direct answer? What's going on? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah,
but no, and the Bible's very simple, it's not complicated. I think you just need to actually read it and just pray to God on it. Cuz what the message of the Bible is fundamentally is this, right? It shares with every other religion, it shares these core aspects, right? Every religion, even atheists really believe there's a God, right? And then they also believe that God's going to judge the world, right? And good people are going to some kind of heaven and bad people are going to some kind of hell, right?
I don't think Jews have a hell.
They believe you die if you, so they do. Just not the same way.
Okay, fair enough.
So then, what all religions also share, right, is that we're probably not, where we are right now, we're probably not going to be making it into heaven right now.
Yeah.
And so every religion has, their own little answer to this conundrum. They have their own little answers, and none of them are really sufficient. It always boils down to, hey, sacrifice some animals and then maybe God will respect it and you'll go to heaven. Or, hey, start doing some good things to outweigh your bad things and maybe you'll do enough good things that God might let you into heaven. Or, all this other stuff, do these rituals or whatever, and then God will respect you and you'll go to heaven. But it never makes any sense, right? It never actually makes sense, if there's a just God in heaven, how is it that me doing this stupid stuff, why does God even care about me? Why is God even listening to me? He's this far off entity that's far beyond us, why would he care about us, right?
We can go to Genesis, where we look at the purpose God created us, which is just out of his goodness, just to share in his,
to glorify God and enjoy him forever.
Yeah. No, that's not what it says.
I think that is actually what it says. I might be
don't know
wrong.
I don't think there's a verse that says that, but I mean, I'll get into that, but I wanna finish up my little spiel here.
Oh, yeah, sure,
and
sure.
then
Yeah,
we'll
go
get
ahead.
into it.
No.
But what Christianity offers is it offers an answer that you cannot find in any other religion. Like, there's literally no other religion that will say what Christianity says, which is that this God who's so far above us, who created us, who's going to judge the world based on our actions, right? That every religion believes in. They might call him a different name, but that this God came down to earth and did all the good things for me to get into heaven.
Yeah, and that to me makes sense.
Go ahead.
It makes sense to me that in order to atone for all our sins, God came down to earth and lived life perfectly. He lived life as a human. He was tempted by Satan. He was tempted to do sin, but he prevailed over sin. And it makes sense to me that then he would have to sacrifice and curse himself to take our sins with him as our own sacrifice, Like we sacrifice sacrifice lambs and sacrifice whatever and try to appease God by giving him like our time, our life, by devoting like whatever to him, whether it's possessions or more. But the idea that then God would give us himself to sacrifice, that to me also makes sense. And to continually sacrifice him and to teach us how to continue to sacrifice him. It makes sense.
Continue to sacrifice him?
Yeah.
It's not the message of the Bible.
It's
Yeah,
not the
I don't really know
message,
about
but
that
isn't it
one.
mass? Isn't the whole point of mass to
No, that's
look
not
back.
the point of mass. I mean, listen, man, you're a Catholic, so I won't go against you. I used to be a Catholic, but what the Bible says, right, is that if anyone believes in Jesus, okay, and that just what that means is you believe in the correct Jesus, right? You believe that God himself came down to earth as a person, and for what he did, you're going to heaven. Not because you did something, not because, it's just that he did something, so you're going to heaven. He took the punishment for all the evil deeds you did.
Yeah.
So you're going to heaven because you can't go to hell. Jesus already went to hell for you. That's the gospel. And if you believe in that, you're going to go to heaven no matter what. Like you don't have to do all these, rituals. You don't even have to go to church, right? You don't have to do any of that stuff. That is the full and total message of the Bible.
See, here's the thing. I haven't finished reading the Bible. As I said, I've only become like Catholic a few months ago, and I've been through a third of the Bible, I'd say, about now. So I'm still Deuteronomy and Numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to finish. I'm about to finish them. So it's just the way I go through the Bible in a year podcast. See, the thing about it is, it not only gives you the Bible, it not only reads it for you, but it also gives you like historical context of what was going on. And then you also, of course, have the analysis. But I don't tend to listen to the analysis. I just tend to listen to like the time period recollection.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, that's just a reoccurring message throughout the entire Bible. It's like, stop trusting, yourself. Stop trusting these, wise men, these philosophers, because none of them have the answers. Trust God. That's the answer throughout the whole Bible. That's the message. Is that, you can't even make your own heart beat. You can't even make your own lungs breathe. Like God is the one permitting you to get up in the morning. He's the one that allows you to like physically just exist and not just have all of your atoms fly apart from your body, It's like, so if you can't even do like the littlest thing, like make your heart beat without God's help, how are you going to do something as big as getting into heaven? How are you going to do something as big as, anything really without God's help? So the whole message of the Bible is just rely on God. Rely not on your own understanding, Pray to God about everything.
I think that is true, because it's very hard to live by the Bible. Like, like honestly think back and try to remember the last time that you went like an entire month without telling a lie, even if it was just a small one. Like it is very hard to live perfectly. It's impossible to live perfectly.
On your own.
It's very hard to live righteously.
But you can do all things for God who strengthens you, man. And few people will accept that. Few people will understand. Few people will, truly get it. That, like, you can just rely on God. That is the message of the Bible. I don't know if it's necessarily submitting to God. It's really just rely on God. Let go of your own life. Let Him take the wheel, you know?
This reminds me of a quote. It's gonna sound gay a little, but this comes from an anime where, it's a Catholic priest saying that he wishes that nothing more than to be just a bayonet in God's hand, just to forego himself and to forego his existence and live nothing more than an extension of God's will. So.
Yeah, but you literally can. That's the thing.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I feel like, if I remember correctly, again, I haven't finished the Bible yet, but it does say something like that, where it's like, hey, do you want, we're all the sons of God in a sense. Like, those who choose to believe in Christ, those who are brothers to Jesus Christ, basically.
Yeah, it says that we are taken in a spirit of adoption, not of a spirit of fear and worry. That we're adopted by God into His family, and if you're somebody's son, how can you stop being somebody's son? You know?
Yeah.
Is your dad gonna stop loving you because you messed up? Like, he might punish you for something. He might be like, you gotta fix your life, but he's not gonna throw you out of his love, unless he's just a shitty father.
Yeah, I don't know. He might go get milk and never come back.
No comment.
Well, it says in the Bible that God is a father for the fatherless, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Red Santa, you said you had prepared questions?
Not really, but I guess I could come up with some. What do you think of
questions.
things like self-help and
Self-help?
yeah,
Can
like
I say one
meditation?
thing?
Because the way that I see it. Go ahead, Artillery.
In regards to self-help and stuff like that, I want to say that people nowadays have lost the plot. Instead of, oh my fucking god. Shut fuck up. Oh my god.
That's so good. That's so good. That's so real. Straight up real, bro.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, in terms of self-help, a lot of people have lost the plot nowadays. Instead of self-help being like, how can I improve my situation in life? How can I become a better person? How can I be stronger? Instead, it's like, how can I waste the weekend so I feel more numb than I was 2 days ago, when I was feeling shittier? Like, how can I instead of self-help being self-betterment, it's just indulgences. It's just hedonism. It's just, hey, what makes me feel good for the next half hour?
I don't know. My self-help is mostly meditation, and I kind of see it as a response to
Cringe.
the modern world, because the internet and social media has kind of ruined my attention span, and if I want to be able to read the Bible, pay attention in church, it's something that I do in order to help myself do that.
Meditation.
You want to elaborate on that?
It sounds like a man that's about to shoot up a Buddhist temple.
He's about to subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah, I have my AR in my hand. I'm ready to just go on a rampage at any minute. The FBI agents that are going to be watching this is a joke.
When you start shooting
Please keep that in the episode, by the way. Please keep that in the episode. I don't want to get raided by the FBI.
We will not remove it.
We will not remove it. By the way, when you go on your shooting spree, please make sure to say subscribe to the Garbagemice.
I will. But not okay. So do you guys know who Jesse Lee Peterson is?
No.
So Jesse
like
Lee
I've heard the
Peterson,
name,
he
but
is
no.
the funny black man, and he kind of, I don't even know, I can't even do his voice. He's a funny Southern black man, and he has a show on YouTube called Fallen State. I'm surprised you haven't heard of him, but he had this like really good quote that he put out like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and he said, like, do you consult with yourself, right? And, like, for all of us, the answer is yes, probably, unless you
Yeah.
don't have an internal monologue. Like, you're always asking yourself questions, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, we're always like, oh, what did that person mean? And then we answer ourselves, and we're like, oh, this person fucking hates us. Oh, what a fucking bitch. Oh, I want to kill. You know, like, we're constantly, you know, just
Yeah,
chattering on at
schizophrenic
ourselves.
type beat.
I don't think it's schizophrenic. It's just, like, you're overthinking things.
Oh my
and, like,
God, Rich Hante, do you have an internal monologue?
Yeah. I'm
internal
schizophrenic.
monologue equals schizophrenia?
Yeah, based.
Oh no, we have an NPC among us.
No, but like what he said in that this quote is basically that all like sin, like all of our unhappiness essentially just comes from us consulting our own minds for like wisdom. It's like, how are you going to get like any information from the outside world about the outside world from looking inside of yourself, right? Like that's impossible.
That's true. Yeah.
So like like this is why I hate meditation, right? Because it's it kind of seems like it makes sense when like you're in this atheistic, you know, psychological perspective of the world. But like what you really realize when you actually start looking into things and you start really thinking about things, that this is just like another expression of like this satanic do as thou wilt, you know, love yourself first and your neighbor second, right? You know, like focus on yourself, you know, just sit there and focus on your breathing. It's like, why don't you focus on God, Jigga? And like that's what the Bible says. It says in the book of Proverbs, which is basically like the book of just like general life advice. It says in chapter 3, it says, fear the Lord and rely not on your own understanding, or something like that. In all your ways acknowledge him, you know? And what I think that's like trying to say, you know, and if you read other parts of the Bible, like Peter says, you know, cast all your worries upon the Lord, for he cares for you, right? Is that like this little like internal monologue that you have in your head, it's not meant to like chatter to yourself and talk to yourself. It's meant to talk to God. It's meant to talk out at someone, not in at yourself, you know? And if you really want wisdom, you really want understanding, you got to talk to God. You got to start using this voice in your head to talk to God.
Fair.
I think the question that a lot of people would have is that they sometimes do that and they don't hear anything back.
Well, because they don't have the word of God embedded in, like, because they don't know God well enough, in my opinion.
I have an answer to that. I'll read what the Bible says about it. So this is what it says about it. So it says, this is James chapter 1, I read this before. It says, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives to all men abundantly and takes not away, and it will be given to him. So then it says this, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavers is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Or like another way to think of that is like, you know, it's like a leaf in the wind and they just kind of get blown around to wherever the wind takes them, right? Let not that man think that he will receive anything from the Lord. For a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. Right?
Yeah.
And what that's saying is, like, if you don't believe that God's going to answer your prayers, that he's going to answer you, that's basically like saying you don't want him to answer. That's essentially what you're doing. You're asking him for something that you don't actually want him to deliver because you'd rather prove to yourself that God's not real or something, right?
Can I say another thing about the topic before, which was like self-help and with like self-reflection? Wasn't the whole goal of Satan himself is to replace God by himself, or in other words, not take. In my opinion, it's not that he wanted to take over God as the ruler of the universe per se, but that he wanted to overthrow God as the leader and have other people like take control of their lives and have their own perspectives and live lives for their own selves and for their own selfish hedonistic needs and whatnot. And like that's, from what I understand, like the whole ideology of the Church of Satan.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so
But-
to me, it just also, it makes...
But the
Go
thing
ahead,
is, it's
sorry.
all a lie. All this like Satanist shit, this garbage that like you'll hear people put out, like, oh, focus on yourself. When you're following Satan, when you're following sin, you are not actually a free person. You're not actually like achieving your own will, your own goals, when you're in this like mind trap of focusing on yourself. Like,
You're a slave to your own sins.
Yeah.
You're a slave to your own desires. You're.
it's like, is a drug addict
Yeah.
really free? Like, you might think like, oh, the drug addict, oh, he's doing what he wants with his life. He's snorting coke. But it's like, is he really? Like,
Yeah,
is a
he can't
heroin addict
quit.
really free? It's like all he does is he gets up in the morning, looks at his life and sees how depressing it is, and he injects a needle into his arm, pukes, passes out, wakes up a couple hours later in a puddle of his own puke, and is like, what the fuck is going on with my life? I'm a piece of shit. I hate myself. Let me inject a needle into my arm to stop feeling bad about my life. Pukes, passes out. And this time when they're puking and passing out is the most euphoric feeling they've ever felt in their life.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds like a free man. Sounds like a free person.
Yeah, I get your point. That's
Yeah.
that's what I was.
Which is why it's not compassionate to enable drug use. It's
also
wrong
not
to keep
Compassionate
people
to
trapped in
follow
that type
your
of a
own
cycle.
will.
It's not
Literally.
compassionate to promote hedonism and promote an amoral lifestyle as a healthy alternative. It's not compassionate either to tell people, oh, go ahead, do what you want. It's your own body, it's your own life, and that thing actively fucking hurts them. Doesn't even have to be drug use. Just look at Troons. Like that's literally what our society is doing. It's like, hey guys, do this, you'll feel much better. And then they do it, and then they fucking kill themselves because no, it doesn't.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
this all speaks to the fact that everyone should eventually grow out of being a libertarian.
So
I don't-
true.
I don't think so. I don't know. To me, as I've stated in the
Are you a
last-
libertarian?
Not a libertarian, not necessarily. I do believe that there's.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh.
I
He's
thought
a
you were.
libertarian. He's a
I
libertarian.
never
No.
said that. Okay, I never said that. I believe that it's hard to quantify what I believe. Honestly, it depends
It's
on
hard to
whoever I'm fucking
And I mean,
talking to. Whoever I'm
You don't
talking
need to put
I
a
just-
label on it. That's kind of cringe.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, Urfriendlyhood, do you want to talk about the Discord server we fucking trolled?
Is that actually interesting?
It's fucking
Is it?
hilarious in my opinion.
I didn't pay attention to it at all.
Because you're fucking gay. Me, your Friendlyhood, and like a bunch of others from like different corners of the internet we inhabit. Some artist in the Garbagemice Discord, actually, he sent out an invite link to a democracy Discord server. And he's like, guys, please vote for the blue party. And
Yeah.
basically-
So what this Discord server is, because we need to explain it to people. So some guy invited us to a Discord server called United Discord Democracy. And what the idea behind this server is basically this: that the people that are in the server can vote for who is the owner of the server, basically.
Of who's the head
and
admin?
who's the head admin, right? And so then the head admin is basically like totally opt, and they can make whatever changes they want. So like, you know, you'd campaign for like your little party, and then if your party won, you got to change the server, and they'd have like a weekly election basically.
And it was like minor changes. You couldn't kick or ban people, but you could like create channels, you could create laws, you could create guidelines, stuff like that. You can take away permissions, you know, pretty silly. And it had like a blue party and a red party, and it was like nonsense. So me and your Friendlyhood get in the server, and we create the Christian party, or the Helsing Christian party. and we start campaigning in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. We start spamming Christian schizo memes. We start inviting our friends over, and within the matter of like 2 or 3 days, we are the largest party on that server because we're not red or blue.
We literally had like more members than the largest party that was on the server when we joined, which was just so funny.
We had what else? We had also splinter parties because some people were LARPing. They weren't actual Christians. And then when they realized, oh, these people are actual Christians and they want to fucking like evangelize, they fucking split off into the atheist party and the tranny party.
Yeah, and
which
like
was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, there was literally a tranny party. That's so fun.
And we were like making propaganda. We were talking about other
and
parties.
Everyone was getting pissed at us.
The blue party wants to create a porn channel. The red party is an authoritarian shithole. They're trying to take away our permissions. They took away the media permissions. They enabled cooldowns on the server to try to silence our leaders.
They want to create a porn channel, and we're just bullying people, like straight up bullying people. Like I'm pretty sure one of the people just committed suicide.
No, because we stopped hearing from the tranny party afterwards.
Yeah, maybe they did.
That 41% factor is playing really heavy into this one.
But not like, if you guys want a reason to convert to Christianity, any of the viewers, this is the number one reason to convert to Christianity, is that you can troll people to the like brink of death.
Bro, I hate the
and actually be morally justified in the eyes of God.
Bro, just tell them you hate the Antichrist and they get mad. Tell them you hate the Antichrist and they actually get fucking angry. They're like, stop saying you hate the Antichrist!
Yeah, just like go up to people and be like, yo, being gay is bad. Hey, watching porn will send you to hell. And watch how mad these people will get. These people will freak out. And that's the best part of being a Christian. Going to heaven, maybe that's secondary. Number one,
trolling atheists.
The desires of the flesh.
Trolling fucking liptards.
Yo, I have like this one like guy who like leaves straight up a book comment on every single one of my videos. And I just made this video that's about like, it's called How Reading Books is Destroying America.
I watched that video, pretty
Which
based.
was a good video.
And what the premise of the video is for people that are watching. The premise of the video is basically that like filling your head with like information is cringe. Like, and
if you don't use that information.
Being a nerd is cringe, basically, is what the whole premise of it is. And that like people waste their lives away, you waste their seed, basically being this bug man who observes the world through their computer screen but never actually does anything in the real world, and just how pathetic that is. And some guy left this comment. Their name is Zeno the Mino. And they've been leaving a comment on all of my videos, and they have like this like gay tranny like art as their profile picture.
I know which one you're talking about.
And just remember that my whole premise of the video is that you should actually achieve something with your life instead of just collecting information. And just listen to what this person says. Holy shit! Imagine using book cuck unironically to discredit those who you say are being irrational. Also, your entire video is dedicated to a strawman of a person that doesn't even exist. It's rather what you think or want your opponent to be. Also, climate change activists want to make sure you don't have an effect on the world. This is such a fucking meme. It's both terribly unfunny and sad, especially considering the large amount of lobbying these campaigns to change public opinion from what science is saying.
I hate climate change activists so fucking much you couldn't even
And also, how the same people try to change their perceptions are some of the same individuals who fought against science and tobacco to further profit incentives of the food. At the top of the, it's so hard to read because it's just like badly written, like with,
tranny speak, yeah.
Yeah, it's tranny speak. Just like no grammar, no grammar. Quite honestly, I fear the world I fear that the world has people like you who may end up as simple pawns who actively fight against the truth scientists have confirmed and try to call those who question your lack of logic book cucks to simply strawman them and to further justify your absolute batshit insane views that are merely used to lobby and astroturf their profit-driven agenda into politics.
Oh my fucking
God damn.
god. That doesn't even make any sense. The last part is incoherent. That's a fucking Sleepy Joe moment.
It literally is. But like, what I love about these leftists and these atheists is that they always like call us irrational. They always call us stupid, right? But it's like, if you actually look at the right wing and especially the Christians, we're like literally the most well-read, like well-researched people like in the world. It's like they like, oh, you're bodybuilding and not reading books, and it's like, if you actually look at like most right wing people, it's like they're bodybuilding and reading books.
I remember a Reddit comment where it was like, like looking at a bodybuilder, and it's like, imagine this man who's never spent, instead of every muscle he could have built was a new language.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's like, fucking hell, I fucking hate these people, man. Can I just say, I hate vegans, I hate climate change activists, I hate them so fucking much, you can't even believe it. You can't even begin to believe how much I want to walk up to them and punch them in the throats as hard as I fucking can. It is unreal. Bro, they're out there like protesting chickens being slaughtered while we have people being fucking beheaded. Like, come on. There's bigger fucking issues in the fucking world. You're barely doing anything, you're just inconveniencing people. You're not making any real change, and you're trying to prove to everybody that you're morally superior while still, like, keeping up the shitty, fake bullshit system that's been fucking people over for the past 100 years. So fuck you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you all die in a hellfire so you can experience hell before you die. Fuck you.
Yeah, I think one of the strengths of the left is that they really don't have a whole lot of principles, and that does play to their favor. Because they can go to the extreme of saying that they want to, do something crazy like get rid of the Constitution, and they can do so, with moral clarity because they don't really have any morals.
Yeah.
And I can't see Christians ever doing that because the underlying philosophy of something like the Constitution is actually based in Christianity.
It's actually based.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't get atheism, and I don't get why they're like so hung up on like morality. Like to be an atheist, just like, I love that voice crack. To be an atheist to me though, it just seems like such like an irrational, like retard monkey. What else can we? What other?
Here's how I like to say.
G-Man Obunga position.
Here's how I think about it. In trying to elevate themselves above God and above everybody else, they end up reverting to a primal, uncultured, and just completely, like, subservient state. They leave their enlightenment and they go back to be, like, they return to monkey, really.
Maybe there's something to this evolution theory.
Oh, fuck.
But
if God created us, then he would have, done so in a manner that makes us look like a cult or whatever. I don't know.
No, but it's like, if God's not real, right? What, like I just need to like ask atheists, where do you get the idea of like value from? It's like, you just look at the way atheists talk, or like any human being talks, right? And it's like, at all of the words that we use to describe the world are filled with like, just they're like boiling over, pouring over, spilling out with just religious language. And it's like, you got to question. It's like, well, you don't even believe a God exists, but you're going to say like, oh, there's value, there's morality, there is good and evil. It's like, how can you even say that when you don't believe that there's anything objective. Yeah, they don't believe that there's any objective value in the universe, but yet they also believe in morality.
I think that they would say that they would believe in reciprocity. and the
What-
principles
what?
of that.
Reciprocity.
Like, don't
I don't speak no English.
I'm not a book cuck.
don't
Yeah.
harm me and I won't harm you. The non-aggression principle is another way to say it.
Cringe.
Yeah,
Cringe.
it
The thing
is.
about it is, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They'll always find loopholes. They'll always find ways to screw you over.
Yeah.
And morality has to come from a higher place. Otherwise, it's flexible to what you need and what you desire. Like, to just
But-
fit your own agenda. That's why morality has to come from a higher place, in my opinion.
I just gotta ask, like, why did we come up with religion? Why did we come up with the idea of a god again? Because, like, you gotta think, like, we're evolved, and there's nothing about, like, us that is you know, needs to be the way that it is, right? Like, everything's a social construct that we've constructed in the atheist worldview, right? So, like, why is it like, how did the idea of religion come about? Did some guy just, like, make up a lie or something? Like, cause it, like, is that what they say? And then, like, if so, they made up a lie. Why is it that has become, like, such an integral part of, like, the human species that you cannot find a single human civilization that is without a god?
It's a core principle to society, to humanity. And I agree with that. I agree that that's the whole reason that even as an agnostic, even as like half an atheist, I still decided that religion had a very important place to people, to humanity, to society, and to behold the fruits of a society with no religion. Just look out your window. It looks kind of nice, to be honest, from our window. But what I mean is just look at people around you and how their lives are miserable and they're shitty people.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's just like it makes no sense. It makes no
Yep.
sense. Why did we make it up? Why did we make it up?
Because we need it. Because we need we need morality to come from a higher power. If we made it up, I believe that it wasn't made up, that it actually came down from us. But every other religion, let's say, or just the agnostic point of view, should be that religion is important as a way to write down laws that come from a higher place that can't be questioned, and to be as a ruling system. And that's what I believed with Islam. I believe that Islam was just made up to be a ruling system for a bunch of tribes that came together.
No, but like the thing is, right? Like, if there is an objective morality that you can observe in nature, right? Which there definitely is. Like, for example, like, most people agree on, like, what beauty is. Like, I'd say virtually everyone agrees on, like, this, like, what beauty is, and, like, what
probably,
value
yeah.
is. Like we believe that a vibrant color is more valuable than, like, gray. And, like, everyone universally believes that. And then we believe that, like, a living thing that, like, grows is more valuable than an inanimate object, right? And we believe that a living thing which is conscious is more valuable than, something that's not conscious, right? But
Yeah.
and it's like, so if there's, like, an objective moral hierarchy in the world, then that proves that, like, nature is ordered, that the universe must have a consciousness that is, like, constructing things in such a way where, like, that things are being judged on a standard, right?
I get that.
So there necessarily has to be a god if you believe in morality. Like, that morality means God. It's the same thing. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe that's just too schizo. It's too schizo. Too
I don't know.
esoteric. It's too esoteric.
Maybe it is too schizo, because I'm guessing I know where I'm understanding where you're coming from, but I'm finding a hard time to quantify how to respond.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I'm having a hard time quantifying what to fucking say.
hey, let's just call it autism and call it a day. I just want to finish off by saying, if you're all wondering if we won the election for the United Discord democracy, they deleted the server because we had too much power and influence in that server as Christians, and they were afraid of us.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
what a
just wanted
shame.
a Reddit
Christ is
circle
king.
jerk. And so
And-
they deleted the server. They broke their own toys so that no one else could play with them.
Finally, I don't know if you read our Patreon questions, Urfriendlyhood, but we recently had a question of top 3 genocides.
Top three
Top
genocides.
3 genocides?
Yes.
Like,
I
alright,
have,
so
I have a list.
what
I
does
have a
that
list.
mean? What does that mean? Well, does that mean like what's your favorite genocides, or does this mean what's like the
You're
the
It
posting
can
top
mean whatever you want it to
genocide.
mean. It can mean whatever you want it to mean. I'm gonna say what my top 3 genocides are. Number 3, Cambodia. It's the deadliest genocide in history. It is ridiculous. Pol Pot was just some middle-class kid that went to Paris, studied a bit. Oh, yes?
Do you have your rent?
I already gave it to you.
When?
Yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, on the podcast, man.
Okay.
Sorry, that was my landlord.
Oh,
What's your
shit.
fucking rent?
Man, did you pay your rent?
I did!
keeping that
I
in.
paid it yesterday!
Artillery broke, exposed.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, Cambodia. My favorite part of that genocide was when they ran out of intellectuals to murder, so they just started murdering people who wore glasses.
Oh fuck, that's gonna be a problem for me.
Number 2, Uyghur Muslims. What China is
Uyghurs?
doing... The Uyghurs, yeah. What China is doing to the Uyghur Muslims is low-key, kind of based, but also cringe because they're yellow. Number 1 genocide.
Ooh, I've been waiting for this one.
What Hadrian did to Judea. I can't wait to reenact that shit, word for word, all over again in Israel. I cannot wait to grab a fucking sword and just go full Hadrian in Israel. Just saying, okay? They have it coming. And they had it coming back then. They fucked around and found out, and now they fucked around a little too much. And since the USA is collapsing, I'm pretty sure we all can agree on this, Israel is losing its main source of funding, and they're on bad terms with everybody else. So,
So if you want to join the Christ is King party and invade Israel with us, click the link down below to join the Garbagemice Discord.
and our Patreon.
That was so
And-
good. That was so good. It was just perfect.
Anyway,
Can we get Little Pizza Box to give his take on this? Because I don't think he said a single word this entire podcast.
Yeah,
No, he just
I'm
gets
not.
the check and then leaves.
He's actually
Yeah.
recording this in a closet in his barracks. He's got like fucking U.S. Marines all around him. So every time we start talking about the Jews or whatever, he's just sitting there like,
Yeah, he's surrounded by feds. Can't really do
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, I legally have to say that anything that I say on this podcast doesn't count. But whatever the other fuckers say, that should be taken as fact.
yeah.
Well, listen,
Yeah,
I
of
think I'll
course.
give my answer on my top 3. My answer on my top 3 is I only know about 3 genocides, and if I was to support it would not look good. No.
So back in the mid-century,
If I was to
in East
rank them-
Germany, there was this really cool guy.
That was one of the ones that I know about. You know what? There's one that I'll put in a number 1 spot, and this is the genocide of the Palestinians.
Fuck you!
I support Israel. We love Israel. Can I say let's go Israel?
Can
love
I
Israel.
say, I know where you live and I'm rapidly approaching your location? Just saying.
I love Israel.
I'm not even gonna say anything that can get me linked to your upcoming murder. To your upcoming beheading, okay? Spoiler alert, I'm gonna draw a fucking pentagram with your blood just to spite you.
You heard it here first. This is the last time that we will ever hear your friendly hood speak about anything ever again, exclusively on the Garbage Mice.
Here, as a matter of fact, stay tuned, because in the next 5 minutes, I estimate...
Listen, don't be offended. Listen, can we cut this out? I have ties to Hollywood Jews, man. I don't want to
Oh,
be
no.
blackballed from the industry, bro. I have to support it.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you actually a friend of Epstein's?
Listen, I'm trying to get on the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro.
Oh my
I
fucking-
can't mess this up. I can't mess this up, bro.
Bro, have you looked 2 thumbnails ago? I think it's already gone. It's already on this
Two-
episode.
2 thumbnails. Yeah, let me look at the Garbagemice podcast. Are we gonna pull this up on Garbagemice? Can we pull it up when you edit it? And then
Sure.
and then just like have this like really like slow scroll like from the first thumbnail to the second thumbnail. Okay. Okay, let me look this up real quick. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I think you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it to best
You're not gonna
Heroes
make it on
show.
the Daily Wire. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. And someone took a clip from that episode. Someone,
Now you can say anything you want about Israel. Now you can say it.
yeah, someone took a clip of that episode and put it on Goyim TV.
They took the whole episode and put it on Goyim TV. Bro,
Really?
ever since the episode, they've been re-uploading every episode we make on Goyim TV.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess we've gotten it in good with the Nazis.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, your friendlyhood. I'll keep it on the down low. Don't worry, small podcast. Nobody knows about the show
We-
exists.
We could just like upload the episode without his audio. So it's just the three of us.
So it's like 30 minutes of silence interrupted with me saying, cut.
And then artillery going on a monologue, and then Red Sante every like 10 to
Based?
20 minutes just
Based?
going based schizo.
Oh my god.
And then Little Pizza Box once every hour saying something.
Little Pizza Box. Everything he said here is legally binding. Oh shit, they killed people with glasses.
Alright.
Hey, I said oh shit as well.
Well, the jig is up. I've been a federal informant this entire time, and
Your friendlyhood, just say what you want about Israel. Say it. 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 Say it.
Can we just look up the date Israel was created?
Yeah.
Okay, and then just look at a map over time.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm from Syria. I'm from that region.
That's all that has to be said.
Can I say one thing though? Syria is a secular country. Iraq is a secular country. Palestine was a very secular country, and Jews live in all these countries. So why the fuck is Israel still like, oh, we need a place for Jews? Fuck you. You had
Nah, but
Palestine.
I will actually give an original take on Israel. You want an original take on Israel? Irregardless of whether or not you hate them, it says in the Bible that you are not going to get rid of them until after the end of the world. So
I have heard
unfortunately,
that.
you're gonna have to deal with them for.
It's coming close.
So
It's
yeah,
coming
Goldman
close.
Sachs is
not
sticking
that much
around.
longer now. Okay, so it's not that bad, but
It's probably in the next like 20 years.
yeah, probably.
Probably.
Definitely.
The next
The
20
US is
years,
gonna collapse.
maybe.
It's the first time a nuclear power ever collapses in the history of humanity.
That's not
Israel's-
true. Soviet Union.
But not in the same like sense. The Soviet Union was more like a democratic revolt. The US is going to civil war.
I don't.
I think the
that's
U.S.
gonna
is just gonna run out of money.
No, it's
We're
gonna,
not
it's
gonna have a civil war. I doubt that.
Anyway-
I don't think there's gonna be a civil war.
I am pretty sure there's going to be a civil war. Like I'm 80%, 90% sure.
I mean, you did like
That's someone
roleplay
in the
as Tim
military,
Pool
I'm
a
gonna
while
have to
ago, so
agree
that
with
makes
that.
sense that you would think there's a civil war.
Red Sante agrees with like the whole idea. You know why? Because the ideological line is so hard set between conservatives and liberals. They can't agree on basic facts anymore, and they have
No,
massive.
no, that's not true. That's not true.
Bro,
Yeah,
Kyle
I don't
Rittenhouse.
think it's as bad as you think.
People
Nah, I
still
think-
believe Kyle Rittenhouse went to a Black Lives Matter protest and shot 3 black people.
Listen,
How are you
man,
gonna argue
Bruce
with them?
Jenner is a speaker on Fox News. They gave him a show.
Yeah, I don't think it's as
Alright. So listen, man, you think that things have that much hope? That much hope? You're sorely mistaken, my friend.
no.
No,
My friend.
no.
Let me
The
tell you
average
something.
quote unquote conservative like believes like trannies should be able to cut off their 13-year-olds should be able to cut off their penis so long as I have a right to my Second Amendment. That's all
That's-
that matters.
Let me tell
Hey.
you something, okay? You think, okay, what does the average conservative believe? Let me tell you something. The average person does not make a civil war. The extreme people do. And America has a lot of extremism right now. Things you and I would look at and will be fucking shocked and viled by. You think that the average Syrian had anything to do with either ISIS or any of the other militant groups? No. You think the average Libyan had anything to do with the average slavery group or the average people fighting against Gaddafi? No. You think in Sudan, in South Sudan, the average person has any affiliation with all the tribe leaders that want the war to continue? You think in Lebanon, the average Christian or the average Muslim wanted to kill each other? No, but what they did, they killed the extremist ones, started killing everybody. And everybody was forced into that situation where they had to join the party that was closely aligned to them to survive. It is not a matter of political belief for most people. For the average person, it's a matter of survival. And that's what civil war is. And it's heading down that road real quick because the extremists on the Republican side, or rather, ultra far right nationalists, stuff like that, they are willing to take up arms and fight for what they believe in, and so are Antifa, so are very hardcore communists, and they have the support of the establishment, and so we're gonna have something. I am not looking forward to it, man. I think it was a mistake to make it to North America. I just think I should have gone to Russia.
I don't think that any of that's happening, man.
That's way too optimistic.
Yeah, that's a bit too optimistic. I like how I'm saying a civil war in America is optimistic, but
Well, because the agents of the devil and the Antichrist have taken over your country. So.
But I mean, honestly, I think the only hope for America, like I agree, there is no political solution, but I'm not saying that means there's a war solution. You think that's going to solve anything, even if there was one?
Bro, let me tell you something, okay? I'm gonna say this. You see all these trans kids? You see all these 13, 12-year-olds being groomed into taking testosterone, taking estrogen, cutting off their tits, cutting off their dick? Those are the people who are going to be taking Molotov cocktails to all gender clinics in the United States. It's not going to be their parents. It's not going to be their friends. It's not going to be their family. It's going to be those people who were forced to go through that shit who are going to be the most hateful and resentful. So there is already enough catalyst for violence in the U.S. It's just a matter of time.
I think unless we have a spiritual revolution, those people are just gonna kill themselves. I don't think it's gonna happen, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Our only hope, the only solution is a religious solution, a spiritual solution. That's the only way.
We'll see.
That's been my message from the beginning. I used to be a very political YouTuber, but what I realized is that politics kind of gay, kind of homosexual.
I do agree that spirituality is definitely an answer to the hardship of today. But is it going to be enough? I don't think so. I
Probably.
don't think so. You're going to have opposing beliefs. You're going to have opposing systems. And it's just not looking for... Now, here's the thing. I might be a little paranoid because I've been through a fucking civil war before, and I know what it looks like when two sides of it can't come to a mutual agreement. So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think even the atheists right now are realizing that they're given the choice between Christ is King and trans kids, and they're on the side of Christ, even though they are non-believers.
Anyway.
Cringe.
Yeah.
Hey, look, every man has a chance to return to Christ. What do you guys say? It's been an hour?
It's been more than an hour.
It's been like an hour and 30.
So you guys want to add on anything before we abruptly cut off the audio?
I think we should have like an actual outro.
So
yeah, a real
guys,
prayer session this time.
okay. Oh Lord, please add subscribers to Urfriendlyhood's YouTube channel. He makes really good stuff. His scripted content is actually pretty fucking good.
I have no scripted content.
Oh shit, really? Man.
Yeah, none
It
of my
sounds
videos are scripted. They're all off the top of my head.
Well, your editing is nice, I suppose, because you come off very coherent. Like, today you had a few schizo rants, but over there you're a lot more coherent than.
Yeah, it's called editing.
Yeah, fair enough. But hey, you were also coherent today. I'm not saying you were Sleepy Joe or anything.
I am Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe nationalism.
Joe Biden, wake up. Joe Biden, wake up.
Joe Biden, wake up. 9/11.
Okay, so please, fucking.
Yeah, we're
Turn
almost at
the world
1,000 subscribers, Goyams. You better subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to the Garbagemice podcast.
Especially
No.
subscribe
Let
to the
me
Garbage
do
Mice
it.
podcast.
Also, subscribe to the Trash Rats podcast.
Hey.
No, I'm joking.
Trash Rats is gone. They're dead. I harassed them too much, and now they're gone.
They didn't believe in
gone.
God hard enough.
Yeah.
Can I come up for like a second episode at some point, and can you just fill me in on like the lore of what the fuck happened?
Oh,
we
of course,
should
man.
do,
That would be
we
fun
should
as
do
shit.
a Garbage Mice
Alright,
lore episode.
Yeah,
Episode 15.
Like have me on in like a couple weeks, and
Let's do it.
I wanna talk about that in particular.
Okay, will do.
We will do that.
Okay, any other add-ons? Because I really need
no,
to go
that's
take
it.
a piss right now.
Yeah, go
that's
take
what
a
I want to
Finish.
go
Wanna
get some
hurry.
food. So, yeah.
All right.
Alright.
Thank you guys for listening to the Garbage Mice